Good afternoon, folks, and welcome to the stream today. How's everyone doing? What do we got? Who do we got? We got Max, not Andy. Philly Sports as always, Totter as always, Cameron, Heather G, my new moderator. Very, very popular, kind of famous mod within the Planet Zoo community. She's a mod for Drew and Eston and Savannah and pretty much every other major streamer out there. So, I want to thank her. She's going to be helping me out in the chat, and then probably for about an hour or so, and then she's going to hop over to Drew's stream. But, like I said, I've been talking about I need some help with moderation, so she offered, so I appreciate that very much. What else do we got? We got Captain Keeley in the chat. How's everyone doing? So it's been a bit since we have jumped into Atlas Park. Very, very hot minute. It's been several patches. We've had several updates and about 3 DLCs between the last episode of Atlas Park and now. But we are back. So I kind of discussed this a little bit on my last live stream for Roger Williams, but basically, as a lot of people have been, I am really fried today. As a lot of people have known, I've been helping Drew and Estan on their Beyond Wolf Nature Preserve series they've been doing. And it started out as a pretty realistic, Floridian, nature preserve, whatever. Very quickly devolved into basically a fantasy series. So they kind of quickly started getting more and more into the idea of and what if we had creatures and fairies and monsters and what? Let's just make I'll talk to Jaunty and stuff. We should just make our own D&D zoo or something, because we're all in on the fantasy idea. So I was like, hey, listen, if you guys want, I have my own series that I started a while back with my buddy Lemur called Atlas Park. It's literally what you're talking about. It's literally just fantasy creatures. We have unicorns and Norse gods, and later on we're going to have Greek mythology, so we're going to have stuff like dragons and griffins and yada yada yada. So I was like, if you guys want, Lemur really hasn't played Planet Zoo in a bit, so if you guys want, you could help me with Atlas Park Zoo, and I could toss you guys the file back and forth, and you guys can build some stuff, and then I could build some stuff, and we could just kind of do some stuff with it. So I'm just gonna try to basically work on the episode that is long been overdue. This episode was recorded. Give me a sec. Let's field trip time, as Drew would say. We're gonna go field trip. We're gonna find where the file. I'm gonna find where the initial Fenrir footage, which is the exhibit we're gonna be working on today, is. So here we go. The original date of when I recorded the Fenrir episode was what is that? July 13th is when I recorded this episode. So July 13th is when I made the Fenrir mod, and you can see it here. I'll be showing this off probably to this is going to be one of my Lion Rider Pride member perks, so anyone who's in the $5 a month tier or higher, you're going to get access to this video. Here's a little sneak peek, though. Basically, it's just behind-the-scenes footage from, like I said, ages ago when I actually worked on the Fenrir mod. And so it's been a long time coming. So essentially, this is what I made all those months ago. And it's funny because this exhibit is like a cursed exhibit, kind of like the Binturong episode was for Roger Williams. This episode has been created and destroyed several times and tossed back and forth, because originally Lemur made this habitat, then he's like, it's not coming out great, I want you to take over. So then I worked on it a little bit, and I kind of recreated it, and then if you actually, in that recording that I'm going to be sharing with those Pride members and above, you're going to literally see that the game crashed and I lost pretty much everything I did because a thing that I decided to do originally, add some backstory to what Fenrir is. Fenrir is a Norse god that, is literally a big black fire wolf. So he's got lava and fire and stuff, and he's this awesome looking, beast of a creature. And so even though you can't really see it, if I put let me put down a Frankie really quick. He's 4 times larger than a normal wolf should be. So, so there you go. Like, you could definitely, and this one's not even the biggest it can get. This is only a 75%. 100% would literally be a really big dog. So what I'm going to be working on is I was placing down these. So these are a bunch of little torches that are, next to each other. And those who saw Beyond Wolf know that I've sent this to Drew as a blueprint. And so it looks awesome, right? Like, it literally just looks like fire. However, what I decided to do, because I got really overambitious, and I'm like, oh my god, look, that looks like lava. If you were to ever see lava, I did this. I basically took one, copy, pasted it, copy, pasted it, copy, paste, and I made a river out of lava. And so while it looked completely awesome, broke my game. It just crashed my game because it was lagging so hard. So, or it didn't even lag, that's the funny part, it just crashed. Okay, here's a normal wolf for comparison. I had them in because earlier I was trying to get a cool screenshot for the thumbnail, and I was thinking maybe I could get it so that the male would, fight another male so that I could get it, like, like being really angry and stuff, but that just never worked out. So what I'm going to be working on today is kind of taking this meh habitat and making it a lot better. So I'm gonna try to really kind of like, make this a lot better. Because the biggest thing that I wanted to address is we've got a lot of new props since the foundation of this. And so as an example, what I really wanted in my initial vision of this idea is I wanted black obsidian. And so here you go. That's, this is what I wanted the whole time, and now I have it with the, and like, even I could like do it like, so it has like a little like red or whatever. This is what I've been wanting the whole time. And so I think one of the first things we're going to do is just kind of lay down all of this and replace all the rock work with this kind of like black rock idea. And the other thing that I'm sure a lot of you are probably going to acknowledge is that the water needs to go. Because I like the idea that it was in a lake. And so what I want to do is, even though I'm going to keep some water, I want lava going through this whole habitat, which instead of my technique that I used before, which was the fire, I'm going to be using primitive pieces and then kind of adding fake lighting and stuff. Sort of like what I did for Dracula Park Zoo for my Halloween entry. So what I kind of want to do is have like the lava and water mixed together, and then I'm just going to cover the lake in like steam almost. So it looks like the water is like melt, like kind of like, or the lava's melting the ice caps over here, but also that the like, what am I saying? So like the lava's melting the ice, but also the water's preventing the lava from getting any further. So I think that's sort of the idea that I want to go for. And then, like I said, I'm going to be then tossing this map over to Estan, because he has a really cool idea for he wants to work on a waterfall. What a shock. But he wants to work on like this kind of like, it almost looks like a Lord of the Rings style, like Nordic, Rivendell style, like mountain fjord or whatever, with like big waterfalls. So I was like, yep, that looks awesome. Totally on board with it. So I'm gonna I guess we could just kind of get started. And I'm just going to work on this habitat for now, and then I'm going to pass it off to Estan, and then potentially Drew. Drew also said he was interested, and we are going to, get this ball rolling again. Just because I know a lot of people have been saying, like, we miss Atlas Park and stuff. And at the same time, I know even earlier in the chat, I had, like, some people, like, saying, like, well, I don't even like Atlas Park, so why are you even doing it again? It's one of those things where, I've been wanting to get back into it, and I know some people also are getting sick of the realistic zoo creations. And I think that is apparent. So even if some people really like the realistic zoo situation, or scenario, or whatever you want to call it, really, some people are looking for something different. And so, I had this series that was created from its inception to be different for that reason. And so, I know not just me, but like other creators, again, Drew and Estan and stuff, wanted this kind of break from, okay, we're making a lion habitat and it's gonna be a savanna and it's gonna have some rock work. And so I wanted to just kind of expand that and just go crazy because, there really aren't any fantasy series out there. Like, you can find probably a few examples of, like, pseudo recreations of, like, more fantastical things. Like, is it P-Blade who's working on, Valhalla, which is sort of a similar premise where it's like, okay, well, it's kind of like this Nordic inspiration. But this is kind of like taking that to the next level where, I'm literally making Valhalla where it's like literally got the world tree and it glows and there's gods and stuff of that nature. Hey Nick, this looks great. Have you seen my request on Discord? I haven't. I'll have to check after the stream and then check that out. Let's see. Maybe retexture the water or calm water. I'll have to see about that as well, because I know in the past I've done it, and I just by adding steam alone, or mist, I forget what it's called, it looks totally fine. So I'm going to probably work on that, and then just go from there. This is the only thing I don't like about the faux rock, is it's not flat. So, like, even though you want it to be, flat, it doesn't look good. And I'm going to keep the chain, so if anyone doesn't know the mythology of Fenrir, basically he's this god that was literally, like, tied up with, like, chains or whatever, because, like, I think he's Loki's son, if I'm not mistaken. So he's like Loki's kid or whatever, and like he's chained up, and so I like the idea. And normally in modern depictions and stuff, like Smite and stuff of that nature, you often see him like having like chains and stuff wrapped around him. So I like the idea that like he almost like broke free from the chain, like he was chained to this like little rock or whatever in the center platform, and then he just broke free. And now he's like just running around, but they like built a like rock wall around the entire enclosure so that he couldn't escape. So, will you add Nessie? I was thinking about that myself, because I don't know if it'll be Nessie per se, because I like the idea of including cryptids in this. Because I'll let you know. I'm probably planning on adding Bigfoot at least, or a Yeti. I think it's probably gonna be a Yeti to like not literally just be, oh, it's Bigfoot, because that'd be kind of lame. But I like the idea of doing Nessie or something. So this is what I was saying about adding lava. So let me just kind of map out where I want my lava rivers to go. And then we can go from there. So if I do this, and I think I might want to raise this platform in general, just so that I, have a better idea of how everything's going to look. Because I also sort of... Do I want a lava waterfall? I think I'm gonna do it. I think I'm. He was Hela's wolf in Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, exactly. Like literally, that's the idea. Is like, and in that one, he was just a big black wolf. I like the depictions like Smite, where like he's got lava and stuff like inside of him. And so I definitely wanted to, you know, work on that and get something kind of cool looking. So let's see. So let's just try to add a lava fall over here. And then I'm thinking, debating if I wanna, because that probably won't look good. I'm trying to think of like how I want this river to flow. So if and I know it's made out of cubes right now, but I'm gonna like obviously like block this off and stuff, and so it's not gonna be that blocky when I'm done. But I want to get some kind of idea here. I just had to do an intro video for one of my classes, and now I have another coming at the top of the hour. Just going to put this on over lunch. Well, you know, enjoy, because we're going to be hopefully having a good time. And I'll have to see if people like, you know, really aren't, you know, liking Atlas Park or whatever, you know, I can go back to Roger Williams live and stuff. That's not an issue. I just wanted a little break or whatever. And like I said, I'm going to be passing this off to Stan and Drew anyway. So it's not like every single stream now is going to be Atlas Park or anything. You're going to get, you know, some other things in between. I kind of like this idea. So like if all the lava like is like kind of seeping out of this rock area over here. And then we could just kind of work on something like this. Marvel doesn't really depict Norse mythology accurate at all. They just kind of poach characters and make them look like bad fanfiction. Yeah, I know. I definitely know about that aspect. Is like, while I'm taking some inspiration from the Thor films and Asgard and stuff, I'm gonna try to go a lot. The big inspiration for this area was God of War, like more than anything, which is a lot more accurate to actual depictions of stuff like this. So this inspiration in particular was more Sony's like new God of War series than, you know, anything else. So let's just try this. If I just sprinkle the rocks everywhere. And so do you see what I mean by like just like kind of like, you know, doing this, I'm able to just kind of get it to look more like an organic river than, you know, some kind of weird blocky mess. And so we're going to have a lot of rock work in this episode, but I think it's going to look good in the end. Hi, when will you be making the Tamandua? So the Tamandua I will be working on when I have the spare time. Like I said, I'm not in a rush. Haribo is working on the administration building now. He just finished Missoula. So he's going to be working on the administration building. So I'm not even that concerned with Roger Williams immediately right now. And then, like I said, I have a few other things I wanted to like start working on. But I will be getting to the Tamandua with time. Like, if anyone didn't see, I uploaded another 3 mods the other day. I just randomly decided, you know what, let's just make a few more mods for no reason, and that's all I did. I just quickly threw together a Wyzant mod, which, spoiler alert, a Wyzant is literally just a bison, pretty much. I did make changes, but unless I show you it next to the bison, you wouldn't be able to tell. So I made that one. The Malayan tapir I finally uploaded because I think it was Leaf or someone who was like, "Hey Nick, so remember when you made that tapir for the texturing video?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." Yeah, I can do better. And then I just quickly made a better version of the tapir because in the tutorial, like, I even admit that, like, it was just, you know, a quick thing that I threw together. But it'll be, you know, I'm drawing a blank, sorry. I just read Teeter's comment really quick and then lost my train of thought. But, yeah, so I just quickly made the Malayan tapir using Substance quick, and that's a much better looking mod. And then I also did another modding commission for someone, and I did a Blue Roan Mustang, which is basically just a domestic horse, but they wanted a specific color variant of it. So it's kind of like this bluish gray color for the horse, and I think it does look cool. And then, like, it was interesting messing with the fur shader to get like a mane on the horse to make it look like a wild Mustang. And I think that mod came out pretty good looking. Like, I've been pretty happy with all of the commissions I've been doing. Because luckily no one's given me something out of the... this is looking really cool. This is what I was hoping it would look like in the end. And then you could just have, like, these little cracks and stuff of, like, more lava in between. This is what I was hoping it would look like. Because it looks like... What's that planet from Star Wars? It kind of looks like that. Let's see. So, I need to remember my rules of river design. So, rivers, if anyone isn't aware, they always meet at points. They don't branch off, like, randomly. They have, like, a sort of, like, rhythm to them. So, let's try this. So, I'm going to stop the lava river there for now. So, as an example, the river should actually kind of come out more like this. If what I remember is correct. They like meet at like junctions like this. They don't actually meet in like a branching path or anything. And that makes rivers look more organic. I forget where I learned that. I think it was like a YouTube video on rivers or something. And they're like, if you're gonna draw a river, it needs to be like this style or whatever. Thank you, honey. I appreciate you. You're the best. Julie is like the greatest thing. She like always donates to me when she's at work. I love her so much. But yeah, let's see. Here we go. Let's just do that quick. See, I think we're getting the kind of idea that I was wanting across. And I do think I do want to raise up this platform more and make it a little bit more intricate. And then over here, I have an idea. So I think over here, I want to add a lava fall. Will you upload the monkey pack? I will be uploading all the monkeys in, I don't know if I'll do it in a pack. But, you know, it probably may be like some kind of like South American monkey pack or something when all is said and done. But I'll have to see, like I said, like, because that, I usually don't upload the mods until the episode for the time-lapse is ready. So, if you're, like, expecting the monkeys to be out relatively soon, probably you're a few weeks away, maybe 2 weeks or so away from them being released. And I just keep giving, like, everyone the benefit of the doubt on the modding end that, like, we could just get those custom animals, like, soon. I was actually working with Inaki, who's, like, an amazing modder. He helps out with, like, all the JWE tools and stuff. So, like, a lot of the stuff that you've been seeing the last few weeks, like the terrain tools and stuff, would not have been possible had it not for Inaki coming out of hiding for a bit. So, I was talking to him, and he was helping me get, like, some of the foundation for Planet Zoo custom animals in place. The issue is, like I said, he was like, oh yeah, so all you need to do is make a Lua script, and I'm like, see, I don't know Lua scripting, and so, and he's like, oh, well, you know, someone from the Planet Zoo community must know, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think they do. Believe it or not, the Planet Zoo modding community is not that big, so it's literally me and a couple of, like, people probably under the age of 16, so I don't think anyone would be able to do the Lewis scripting aside from Harlequin's ego or Jesse or, you know, whatever Lego, whatever persona you want to call him. He is the one that we're basically waiting on. But he, you know, said that he's gonna just keep working to get JWE the way he wants it. I think him and Hendrix put out a patch for custom dinosaurs again, and so he's going to try one more time there, and then he should start work on the first preliminary Planet Zoo mods, which I think he said is going to be the thylacine. But, you know, fingers crossed everything works out. An idea for Planet Zoo: dinosaur bones for exhibits and robotic dinosaurs for guests. See, I would be fine with that, weirdly enough. I would be fine if they added animatronic dinosaurs to Planet Zoo, even though I am one to not usually like actual dinosaurs, like, you know, kind of flooding everything. But I would be totally fine if they had like some kind of cool animatronic dinosaurs. Let's see. I'm considering modding an otter into a weasel or mink. Yeah, that'd be a cool idea. That could be done. Because I was trying to think of that myself, like what other animals the otter could be useful for. Just because the majority of the otter animations are pretty much just very much like it's an otter. But I mean, I managed to turn a beluga. Or an otter into a beluga, so I suppose there's that. So let me just quickly spam down the remainder of the rocks, and then I can figure out where I want to add more lava. Let's see. I also wanted to throw in some like dead trees in here and stuff, because I wanted the whole like environment to look like it's on fire. Which, by the way, for those who are wondering, I also made a Western hognose snake exhibit animal mod. I don't know if people want me to upload it, though, is the only thing, because I made it because Julie has been asking for the longest time for me to make a Western hognose, because it's her favorite type of snake. But I finally did get it to work, so if people want, I could upload that. I just don't know how big of a demand Western hognose snake was for the community. But I have it done, so, you know, if anyone truly wants it, it's already done. Okay, that's kind of cool, actually. I like the idea that it's, like, just poking out a little bit. Just... And then, spoiler alert, I'm also working on a video for Prehistoric Kingdom. It is not the type of video that I think most people would expect me to make, though. Because I'm sure a lot of people are expecting, like, oh, look, another Planet Zoo YouTuber gonna be just, you know, praising Prehistoric Kingdom and stuff. And it is a little bit like that, but I think I found a good twist to, like, you know, kind of like not make it seem like, or a kind of a new take. I have some stuff I'd like to say about Prehistoric Kingdom that isn't the same. Oh my god, this is the Planet Zoo killer. This is the greatest game ever created. I want it to be kind of like a more fair analysis of what we're getting with Prehistoric Kingdom and what people should be expecting. Because I think a lot of creators and stuff are really under, or kind of overvaluing what we're going to be seeing come February. Because like I know even Mal like tweeted out a thing like, you know, look at how great the Prehistoric Kingdom Alpha is, and oh my god, I can't wait to play it. This is gonna be the greatest thing. I'm ready to start my collabs and stuff. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna have the ability to share maps come February, so I don't really think you're gonna be able to do collabs. So I'm gonna try to you know, kind of dial back some expectations. And I think even Mao was saying that in the... Because even though everyone was hyping it up, they're like, oh my god, this is already better than JWE. Mao literally then replied to the person that said that, and they're like, yeah, no. Don't say it's better than don't say that the pre-alpha... The demo of the pre-alpha is better than JWE, because it's not. Like, and so that was the thing where I'm like, okay, so this is evidence that, like, even the developers are like, dial back your expectations if you think this is immediately going to be the greatest game of all time. Because it's just, you're going to be disappointed if you're going into thinking that. Which I think is totally a valid thing to say, because, again, this game isn't supposed to release until, or it's not going into early access until fall, so it's ridiculous to, like, you know, try to be like, oh my god, this is gonna be the Planet Zoo or the JWE killer already, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, not, it's gonna, you're getting a demo of a pre-alpha of an early access is what you're getting. It come next month. So, if you're expecting, I'm going to make a Pleistocene park, it's like, well, you enjoy those 3 animals that you're going to be getting. Well, I'm going to be making, you know, whatever, like, a big collab series with all these YouTubers. It's like, no, you're not. Because, like I said, I'm not sure if we're going to have any multiplayer stuff ready for February. Maybe they'll have it for the summer Q2 beta of the game, but I wouldn't expect it for the pre-alpha. I mean, it'd be cool if they have it for that, but I'm just not expecting that by any means. And obviously, yeah, like as Alexa said in the chat, like, there's not as many animals as people think. Like, I know the Kickstarter said we're going to have 50 animals in the early access. They've dialed that back down to 22 now. So, and a lot of them are what Planet Zoo creators would say, that's a clone! Because, yeah, I'm sorry, but a Styracosaurus, a Triceratops, and a Pseudoceratops are not going to have drastically different gameplay habitats or anything. You're going to have a very similar sauropod exhibit, a ceratops exhibit, and a theropod exhibit. And then, like I said, if you want a small Pleistocene area with the woolly rhino and mammoth. But, you know, I definitely think, you know, you gotta see the game for what it really is right now. And that's a very good, promising future, but it is not anything spectacular right now. It is a cool game I'm very interested in playing, but it is not the greatest thing ever. And I think it's unfair to the developers if you're saying that, because that's putting a lot of unnecessary pressure on them to deliver, when you have to consider this is their first game. This is a brand new indie studio. A lot of their developers are young. They're less than 30 years old. They are not industry veterans or people like Frontier who have years upon years of games under their belt, and especially, like, you know, prior knowledge in this tycoon industry or anything. They are a brand new company doing a great job, mind you. Just dial back the expectations is all I wanted to say, because I looked at some footage from another streamer, or yeah, I guess streamer, Swerve, and like, yeah, he was playing the game less than a couple of weeks ago, and it looked no different than the Planet Zoo beta. So, it did have scaling and a better pass system, so if you're going for that, totally on board, but yeah. Question: if Jesse eventually does release the non-replacement thylacine to the public, are you going to make a video to talk about them? Of course I am. Like, no, see, like, that's a thing, is just because, like, I'm not a fan of Extinct doesn't mean I'm not insanely hyped about the premise of new animals. And because that's the thing is, even though like I'm rolling my eyes that it's a thylacine, I don't really care because I can then mod in the animals I wanted, which are like the black rhino and the wild horse and stuff like that. So I'm totally cool with a very early, first mod being a thylacine. And it could be worse. Like, it's not like we're getting a friggin' terror bird or something as the first. A thylacine is at least something that was in a zoo not that long ago. It is extinct, but it's not the craziest zoo animal to ever, come out. It could have been much worse. It could have been, we're getting a Tyrannosaurus Rex as the very first animal. I'm excited for PK for what it is, but calling it competition for Planet Zoo when Zoo Sims and Dino Park Sims are completely different games. Yeah, I totally agree. Because I think that's that's one of the points I wanted to make in my video is, if you're someone who is sick of zoo games, or I should say, if you're getting inspiration or creativity block or whatever from Planet Zoo, Prehistoric Kingdom isn't going to be your answer. Sure, it's dinosaurs, but at the end of the day, you're making the exact same habitats. If you were sick of, I have to make a tropical habitat, now I have to make a savanna habitat. That's what Prehistoric Kingdom is offering you. So just because it's a new game doesn't mean that's going to fix that creativity block. You're going to have new items, but they're going to be extremely similar to Planet Zoo, and a lot less items than Planet Zoo. So I'm positive that early into gameplay, people are going to be like, oh, well, I kind of wish that we had this piece from Planet Zoo. I kind of wish we had this thing from Planet Zoo. Much like how, in Planet Zoo, we're like, I wish we had this thing from Parkitect. I wish we had this thing from Planet Coaster. Like, it's a different game, but I'm worried that people are going to be immediately just comparing it to Planet Zoo. And I think it's fair to compare it to JWE, because I think that's totally fair. That's what the inspiration was. It was unapologetically the love child of Prehistoric Park, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Evolutions, and Planet Zoo. That is what it is. But I also looked at some gameplay. It's got a lot of Zoo Tycoon 2 in there, too. So, which I appreciate, because I think stuff like the terrain painting down of jungle and stuff, awesome. But I know if you're used to doing what I'm doing now, where you're placing down plants and rocks and stuff, that could be kind of jarring, I guess. Like, if you're like, I really want to just place down an oak tree here. That's not an option in Prehistoric Kingdom. You have to, like, choose the temperate biome and keep spamming foliage, hoping you get a rock, or an oak tree. And so that's going to be kind of a thing that, I from what I have seen in gameplay, and this was gameplay from less than a week ago, or less than a month ago. So I doubt much is going to change within a month in regards to stuff like that. Could change, but, I'm not betting money on it or anything, because from what I've seen, the developers are focusing on a lot of stuff, kind of like quality of life things like audio, more than anything crazy like that. Think of the thylacine mod sort of as a symbolism of, screw you, extinction, animals will prevail. Yeah, I mean, you can say that. I'm like, and I like thylacines and stuff. And I'm not opposed to, like, even if we got, like, extinct animals in Planet Zoo. Planet Zoo is a fundamentally incomplete game to me. Incomplete zoo game, where we're missing stuff that shouldn't be missing, a year out or whatever from the release, and probably we're about at what I assume is the halfway point of the game's life cycle in totality, because Frontier does not support their games for years on end, like they kind of hype up. Like, Planet Coaster had a longer lifespan, but that was because that was a game that we saw in every development stage from the beginning. So we saw it, from the earliest builds to, early access, and then DLC, and yada, yada, yada. So it made it that lifespan a lot longer, but JWE was kind of like a quick in and out, done within a year and a half, and we only got like 6 DLCs for it, so again, just take that with a grain of salt. Never played Zoo Tycoon. I may have been the only person who has. Probably. Though I have heard that, like, because not even Zoo Tycoon, because the people who say Zoo Tycoon 1 is good, no. Zoo Tycoon 1 was not that good. It does not hold up. Zoo Tycoon 2 does, though, because it did a lot that, is kind of clearly, things that I'm surprised didn't make it into modern Tycoon games, even because they were revolutionary at the time. Like, I have no idea why terrain painting didn't carry over into stuff like Planet Zoo or anything, because that was a major, major feature of Zoo Tycoon 2 that, I think we'd all appreciate. Because imagine, like, how easy it would have been to just be like, okay, I want to make a pine forest, and then instead of planting like 1,000 trees, you were able to just literally just be like, okay, as I'm painting down grass, it's also painting down trees and underbrush and yada yada yada. That'd be way cooler. JWE was extremely limited by Universal's contract, though. Yeah, that's part of it, and so you could definitely say that was part, like, part for the course, and I'll have to see how long Planet Zoo is in development for. It's just, I'm not betting that they're going to be really, continuing years upon years of support for Planet Zoo. I think we have a solid, we're going to get a few more patches in 2021, but I would really be hard-pressed to think that 2022 we're going to get another 4. It just doesn't really... I'm just not seeing. I see by then them Frontier's focus shifting to one of their other games by then. They're not going to want to be held back by, oh yeah, we still have to update Planet Zoo. They're going to want to be like, never mind, we're just going to make Planet Coaster 2, we're going to make JWE 2, we're going to work on Warhammer and F1 and whatever other projects they have. Just because, again, they just... Elite Dangerous has always been their baby, and it seems like F1 and stuff they seem very excited about, versus Planet Zoo, which is always kind of like, we get the... I mean, lately, Estan pointed this out recently, like, they've been on fire with their, like, tweets and stuff, like, community-wise, but you have to, like, take into consideration that up until that point, we were getting every single week, the Diamondback Terrapin has special glands on its, back. And it's like, okay, cool. That's, fine and whatever, just not that interesting, I guess. Like, we just don't care. And that's just sort of how it's always felt, is that they just don't care about Planet Zoo. They don't care about Planet Zoo until it makes marketing sense for them to care about it in the form of a DLC. Because note that I was in contacts with Shantae and all the other big devs and stuff were doing kind of like a press tour practically that week of the Aquatic Pack, or like weeks leading up to the Aquatic Pack. They were like, going on interviews, like, oh, we'll stream with Rudy, and oh, the lady wants to talk to us, cool. Oh yeah, let's, and then, like I said, they scheduled like interviews with me and stuff, and that was all a thing. And then Aquatic Pack came out, back to radio silence across the board. Every single YouTuber I talked to has gotten the same shunned treatment. And I'm really interested in how this whole everyone jumping ship to PK is going to impact Frontier. If they're going to see, like, well, if no one even wants to play our game anymore, why should we even support it? Or if our biggest creators, your Rudies, your Deladies, Drew, Estan, Savannah, Thrive, Best in Slide, Gaming Beaver, every single YouTuber pretty much wants to jump ship, maybe they're not going to see the profitability of continuing to play, play the role of a community that, is really big. Because I've noticed that myself, is the Planet Zoo community, for every person like me or Thrive that, we love zoos, there's a lot of people that are here because it was the next big thing to do. It was, I'm waiting on Prehistoric Kingdom, or I'm waiting on Planet Coaster 2. They weren't here because they love zoos. They were here because, well, I was an ex-Planet Coaster channel, so I guess, you gotta evolve, and that's sort of where we're headed, is the next evolution for a lot of these channels was Prehistoric Kingdom. And so there's not really much loyalty to the zoo genre in particular, and I could see that kind of negatively impacting our future development. If that's the case, they better haul ass and give us more animals per pack. The community's pissed off. Yeah, nope, totally. Everyone's with you there. No one is ever going to say, oh, well, no, I think 4 animal packs is fine. Because, yeah, they do. They really do. And what I've been saying is, with these custom animals on the horizon, I don't even care about animals anymore. Give me rigs. I like as an example, people want birds. I can't make birds currently. I can do the kind of wheel glitch where like I can make a spinning parrot or a spinning stingray or something. But if you want true free-flying birds, they have to develop that, send it our way, and then hopefully they give us enough birds that the community, the modding community, can then come in and be like, okay, we're gonna, we have 1 parrot, 1 vulture, 1 hawk, and 1 crane. We can make every other bird from that. Because if we get something like 3 parrots or something, I'm sorry, I don't really know if I can make a really good-looking crane with the current rigs. I tried the African crown crane with the peacock, and I tried the red crown crane with the ostrich, neither of which, in my opinion, was that good. So, it'd be nice if we got something along those lines. Alright, see you, Maria. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, where I want to get that sort of level of, I just want to see the game expand via modding. I don't, because put it this way, if we get stuff like modding, you don't need things like scaling. Because I could just manually make a bigger prop, and then you download that. So you want smaller primitive shapes. When we get custom items, I can just make smaller primitive shapes. And I can make it so that gutter pieces, at certain LODs don't disappear. I can make it so that we have more fence types, more path types. I can't fix the path system, really, but I could at least make it better by giving us more paths or more terrain brushes, where maybe I could terrain paint on something like a gravel path or something, so that's a substitute if people don't want, the hassle of, needing to deal with actual paths. Which, by the way, this is looking awesome. So that's where I see the future in modding. I don't see it in, DLC, because, and I will gladly purchase any DLC they give us. I'm just hoping that they do stuff like in this Asia DLC. I'm really hoping we get a gibbon, just because I want stuff like a good-looking gibbon in my zoo game. I don't want this gross bonobo mess that I made. Stuff like the Black Rhino mod, I think, looks pretty good. And, I think everyone agrees with that. You can make a good wild horse. You can make a good rhino. Making a good gibbon, kind of hard. Making a good, what's a good, sea lion, that's hard. That sort of stuff. That's what I want to see. I'm not really that opposed to, getting new animals, as long as there's something that I can't do through modding. Opinions on Simply Zoo. So, I actually really like Simply Zoo. I do have a couple of gripes with it, but I do like it overall. I'm not a fan of their current kind of like they basically confirmed penguins and then deconfirmed penguins, and they've basically said that they have no intentions on having any water in the base game now, which I think is a little concerning, because I totally understand if you don't want to do diving in the base game, but no water at all for even decoration purposes is really weird to me. And so people are like, but what about things like crocodiles and hippos? And they're like, well, we never planned on those in the game anyway. And it's like, what? What do you mean you didn't plan on those? So that's kind of a thing where I was like, I don't know about that. But I do love Simplazoo's, I love their team. I think Goosey and Mao and stuff have been super accessible to talk to. They do pretty frequent live streams. And for a small team, I think they're doing a great job. They're doing literally the game that I was developing right before I kind of, I was mid-development into a game very similar to Simplazoo, and then they started making it, so I was like, well, yeah, what's the point? Like, I could just... which I've been maybe debating picking back up, because my game would have had Planet Zoo level building, so with scaling, mind you. So it was kind of closer to Parkitect. But I'll have to see, because Simplazoo looks really fun as a builder. I don't know about the management side. I want to, like, my ideal zoo game is one where we all just kind of cut the shit and stop pretending like we like management. Because no one likes management in any game. I don't really know this giant management audience that people always talk about when they're talking about zoo games. Or not just zoo games, but tycoon builders in general. No one wants to play a really good or a really in-depth simulation of city skylines. No one really wants to play an in-depth campaign in JWE. No one really wants to play a really in-depth tutorial or competitive mode in Planet Coaster. These games are sandbox games. Like, at the end of the day, people just want to build zoos, they want to build theme parks. They don't want to, oh, well, I need to manage the water system, so I have to hire that. Like, if you're going to do that, those games exist, and they don't even need graphics. Those games are your stuff like strategy games and stuff. Like, Civilization is a perfect example of that, where it's like, it's not pretending to be a civilization builder. It's very much a strategy game. And so the management games and stuff aren't fun. People want to build in games like Planet Zoo and stuff. And so I think if a zoo game can just kind of cut the crap of like pretending like we need a burger system in the game, and we need a super functional, AI for the keepers and stuff. No one cares. People want bare minimum interference with just building the game. What people want out of a zoo game in particular, because I know I talked about, a few different things there, like coaster games and city builders and stuff. For the most part, most people exclusively want more animals and more customization options. If you just build a game where everything is flexicolor, you can scale objects, and there's 200 animals, you would sell 30 times the amount of copies than Zoo Tycoon, Planet Zoo, or Simply Zoo will ever get. Because people just want to build without any issue. And so, put it this way, Prehistoric Kingdom with less animals and just the literally promise of scaling alone has basically already hijacked most of the biggest Planet Zoo creators. Because that's all they want. They just want basic customization options. Alright, thank you for dropping by, Lindsay. And so, and the other thing that a lot of people complain about with Planet Zoo is, oh, there's not enough animals. So here's an easy way to alleviate that. Just make a lot of animals. You don't need a complex art style either. I don't really subscribe to the idea that you need super realistic graphics like a Planet Zoo. I think Simply Zoo is on the right track. They just needed their only two flaws that I kind of disagreed with. From a marketing standpoint, not even just like really like, oh, it's, you know, a bad decision or anything. I think that they're kind of like, if they're going for a audience of Zoo Tycoon players and stuff, you want to cater to a lot of animals, and they only kind of promised about 20 to 30 in the base game, which I know is probably not going to really satisfy. Like, it's not going to fill that desire of a zoo game. I would actually like the game to behave more realistically, but not having to place shops every 10 feet. Yeah, like, when I say, like, people don't like management, people like realism, and, like, people like, stuff to make it seem realistic. They don't like the hassle of actual realism. And this is, like, a fundamental thing of most games, and why I think simulation games in particular often fail, is you need to gamify this stuff. People don't like the real world. And so, if I made a realistic zookeeper simulator, do you really want to be shoveling shit and stuff? No. Do you really want to be spending hours preparing lettuce and stuff in a kitchen? No. But that's what a real zookeeper does. And so, it's very easy for someone to go and be like, oh, well, you know, I want a really realistic game. No, you don't. You want a game that is fun. You want the experience of a fantasy version of a zookeeper or something. I want to design habitats. I want to be the one that's, you know, playing with the animals. I want to be the one that's, you know, watching them interact and stuff in their natural environment. That's what you really want. But what you're saying is, I want this. So, like, and this was an issue very early on, I think, with, was it Planet, or yeah, I think one of the biggest issues with Planet Zoo is the community was telling Frontier, we want animal variation. You don't, because what does animal variation do for gameplay? Nothing. It just makes your wolves look different. What you're really saying is, I want my animals to look a little bit different. Or I want my animals to be unique. And so what Frontier read that as is, they want animal variation, we can just change the hue and saturation of the animals, and technically every animal will be different. Which, you know, technically is what we got. But I think what more people wanted was my lions to have different mane lengths. I want my elephants to have different tusk lengths. I want actual gray Indian elephants. I want wolves that are pure black and pure brown. They don't want just, like, a weird shade difference in a lot of the animals. I want the animals to the Planet Zoo game. I don't know what that means. But, like, because, yeah, people want a lot of things. It's just, you really got to decipher, like, what is really important for the game. Long lasting. Okay, this is what I wanted. So if you do this, right, you can basically, like, just kind of, like, fill this habitat with, like, smoke, and so the entire thing starts looking like a hot field or something. This looks really cool. So this is one thing that I also wanted to quickly do. So this was a technique that I used for Dracula Park Zoo. You add lights that are, like, bright orange and stuff, and then put them right below the lava, and then it looks like it's glowing. So yeah, that looks about right. So let's just place one there, one there. I'm just going to place them above ground for now, and then I'm going to sync them all at the same time, if people were wondering. But this makes it look like it's actual lava. I wish more people made, like, fantasy builds like this, because, like, stuff like this looks really, really cool, but I don't really see many people doing it. Looks great. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. Because yeah, I am curious, because I know Drew and Estan really are liking fantasy stuff, so I'm curious what they do. Because I could probably send them some like crazy concept art, and they'd be like, "Hell yeah, that looks fucking awesome!" And so that's gonna be cool. Did I just see Drew jumping into Planet Zoo? Is he switching games? What? He was supposed to play that snow game today. Oh, that looks so cool. Alright. Now, let me just combine all of these. I wish it was combined from the get-go, but no matter. That'll be the only other issue, is unfortunately they're going to be able to walk on the lava, but I'm even fine with that. They can be Jesus. Keep up the good work, Lion Rider. Let me go and see what Drew's up to. Yep, no big deal. Because, yeah, literally when I'm done with this stream, I'm probably going to be hopping over as well, because I'm curious what he's up to. It's the only shame of us, like, streaming at relatively the same time, is we always have this, like, kind of like we want to see what each other are up to, but we're always busy. Busy. So I thought I combined all these already. Why didn't they select at the same time? So combine them, and then combine that with these. I want, are they lava? No. Woo more so at the borders? No, it's where the rock is melting. Sorry, I'm not really understanding. That does look really cool, though. So yeah, now it looks good during the day and at night. So let's see. So I kind of want to add a bunch of steam where the lava hits the water, though. Like, I want it to be like that, like, effect in Attack on Titan, when, like, the Titan, like, you know, blows up. Mist huge. Yeah. Like, honestly, like, just, like, a bunch of this. Literally, just all the mist. And then we could add a bunch of smoke over here. There we go. So literally it just like melts everything all at once. Don't forget lights in the lava fall. Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. I did sort of forget that. And I have to kind of tilt it a little bit so that it angles correctly. There we go. That's better now. Now it's all looking pretty dandy. So we look in here. Let me see. So I think, and this is where I did like the fire. Some fire in certain locations is a good thing. So, like, I'm thinking maybe at the end of these chains we have of, like, fire pits. Like, they were, like, literally, like, burned off almost. Like, you, like, did that thing that, like, you see in, like, a lot, like, who's that guy from Suicide Squad? I know it's a terrible, like, thing. But, like, the one, like, combusts or whatever. Like, I like the, like, they just burned off or something. That'd be crazy. Oh, God, that'd be so cool. Just... And let's look at it at night. Yeah! Like, tell me this place doesn't look awesome. So, what do we think? I'm thinking of maybe doing a wolf head over here. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Because I know I had a blueprint of a wolf that I used for Dracula Park, but I kind of want to make this one custom. Yeah, because this isn't really big enough. Same idea. I want something kind of similar, but I want it to be a custom wolf head. Oh, that's also cool. I could do something like that, or like the actual like fire, or like some of the rocks that are like glowing and stuff. So let me just quickly kind of start mapping out the wolf head. I kind of want to do something that sort of looks like the Witcher logo, or like the Witcher video game logo, Loki's headdress thing. That could be cool. If I did something like that. Let me just quickly map this out. So this is going to be the jaw right here where I'm working. And it's going to be like a wolf cave. And I'm kind of cool if it sort of like almost looks like a dragon. What I'm working on now is going to be the kind of fins, or like the hair on the side. Okay, this is going to be the tough part, because there's not too many small rocks to work with. But I'm going to try my best here. Because I made a dragon before, so I think a wolf head shouldn't be too bad. And I forget who said it, but like every piece of art has an ugly face. And so if I just kind of block it out first, we should be good. These can be the ears. Oh, one's higher than the other. Kind of looks like a jackal right now. Not really going for that. I think it's looking okay. It's just not totally there, if you know what I mean. And I think I want it to like curve downward. And I will be changing the color, obviously, when I'm done. Also, let me get... do you guys want this series to be exclusively live streams, or would you want it to sort of be time-lapsed as well? Because what I can do is basically take these live streams and just do what I did for Roger Williams, where like I literally just turn them into time lapses afterward. So let's try this. So this is looking pretty good. the nose is a little off. And it does have a bit of a overbite right now. Time-lapse sounds good. Literally, if I just do this, can I please tell me I could just color all of them? Really? No. I just want to like color all of these at once. Why won't it let you do that? That makes no sense. Will the videos that the other people make for Atlas be on your channel? Yeah, I don't know. What's Drew's channel called? It's Beyond Drew TV, all one word. But I'll have to see with them because I'm not sure how they want to do it. Because I don't know if they're going to be live streaming it, just building it, whatever. But I'll have to run it by them. Because I'm thinking what I might do is have it so that they just kind of build on their live streams, and then I'll just put their live streams in a playlist for Atlas Park. So, like, you know, you can just look at all of them, you know, via the playlist. And so I think that's what I want to do, because I'll have to see. Because I know it's funny, because when I did the series with Lemur, the assumption was that, oh, I'll just have everything on my channel just because, oh, it's easier, because no one really likes playlists. And now I'm literally like, oh, no, well, I might do a playlist, because I just know that they obviously have bigger channels and stuff. And so I think it'd be kind of unfair, especially if, like, you know, they're also working on this, like, you know, and they're pretty much equal content creators and stuff. It'd be kind of unfair to be like, oh, well, I'm just gonna have you do all the work or whatever, and then you still need to send it over to me. So I think, like I said, we probably will do that playlist design. But I'll have to see if they even want to do time lapses, because I'm not sure if they're even into that time lapses anymore. They sort of will do it sometimes, but I know that, you know, it is kind of annoying sometimes. So let me think. Getting this shape right is going to be tricky. Because I know I need, like, just... These rock sculptures are difficult for this reason, just getting the symmetry right. But I will have to see, because I'm not totally sure yet. Black and red. I heard Heather is helping you out with the moderation. How did you ever convince her? I just asked. Like, literally, I just mentioned, like, hey, I need moderation help or whatever, and then she's like, oh, let me know when you're streaming. And I'm like, okay. I was like, unfortunately, I stream around the same time as Drew. So I know you probably can't make it, but since I'm usually he's at 2 o'clock, I'm at 1 o'clock. I was like, if you want to help me out, I'd appreciate it. Just maybe an hour or so, just because I know I need moderators. Like, and I talked to Crocs, who became a moderator last week. And he was like, yeah, I can't really make it to today's stream. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, because at that point it was fine because I already talked to Heather. But yeah, I just knew that I needed the help where I can get it. Because put it this way, I am willing to, if I am willing to make you a moderator if you're available as well, like, just because you and her do such a good job on everyone else's streams that, like, yeah, I was like, I didn't want to, like, you know, poach you because I knew you guys, like, you know, already had, like, a bunch of other people, but, you know, that's why I was like, we need at least, like, a training squad or whatever, because you guys are definitely the A tier of moderation. You shut any minor issue down real quick. Oh, this place is so cool and this exhibit is cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't know if the wolf head's turning out the way I want. Maybe if I give it eyes, because right now it's just kind of nothing. But maybe if I slot in some eyes, it'll look fine. Let's see. What do I want to use for eyes? Let's just use primitives for now. It's probably the easiest. If I just throw in these, I have to line them up correctly, but general idea is there. Give me a sec. Let me just quickly throw in Witcher 3. I want the logo. I'll tell you what, I will give you the moderation perk, and then there you go. You are now knighted as a moderator. And, yeah, you know, whenever you're available, you can just kind of help me out. So, yeah, The Witcher 3. So let's see, if I angle this sort of like this. So wolf head may have been a bit more than I bargained for. I thought it'd be a quick thing, like, oh, I could just make a wolf head. I don't know why I thought that. That's, to any other creator, that'd be like, what are you talking about? That's gonna take you all stream, but I don't know why I was like, oh, I can whip that together real quick. Just give me give me 2 seconds. I can make a wolf head, no issue. My, how the turntables. Kind of like that. The positioning I got there looks good. I really like the left side of the face. The right side is what I will need to work on, because I just need to get it all symmetrical. So that's going to be my biggest challenge. And then I kind of like the idea of throwing in some lava in the mouth. Which, what am I doing? I was like, I'm just making more work for myself later on by not just using the black right now. That looks really cool. Yeah, so the right side, left side is looking pretty good. Right side needs some work. So let's black, red. Then we do the next row. black, red. It's got like this splotchy pattern right now. I think it'll come out okay in the end. When we're all said and done. I'm flicking back and forth between you and True. That looks awesome, Nick. Thank you. What's he working on? Because I saw he jumped into Planet Zoo. So is he working on Beyond Wolf right now, or is he playing that snow game? If I do this... Maybe the inside of the mouth could be red-orange. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I'm going to make it lava with, like, the fire that I had. Drew's working on Snowtopia. Oh, okay, gotcha. So, he is still working on that. Because I saw, like, it looked like it said he loaded Planet Zoo, and I was like, what's he doing? Maybe, like, S-Dan worked on something or something, and he was just quickly checking it out or something. Not sure. But yeah, definitely agree with the whole blue and, or orange and red idea on the inside of the mouth. Definitely agree to that. Because it just needs some brightness. Got a little late doing some paperwork as I mod. Again, no biggie. I mean, the chat's relatively tame right now. It was a little bit crazy earlier, but definitely a lot more tame now. I don't know if I like that. Can I get one more flat piece over here? Yeah. This wolf needs some teeth. I think for the teeth, I might use real rocks. Because I know there's a little pointy one. This one. Or these. This is what I meant. Yeah. So what do I want to use? Probably Tundra. Yeah. So just for the teeth, I want to use this rock. And like I said, I kind of like the idea that it sort of looks like a dragon. Because it's definitely like a wolf, but it, you know, is like a monster wolf. Which is sort of what I wanted. Where it's just, it's a wolf, but it's a little more crazy and vicious. We have the sense. We have the sense is sharp. Your community sense my presence. Yeah. Oh, because I know I've been talking about it a lot. Like, hey, I need moderators and stuff. And like, yeah, you guys are definitely the two top picks I had. Like, without a question, I was like, if I can get Silver Fox and Heather, they already do Drew, S-Dan, and now Savannah. But if I can just poach them for an hour or two on my stream days, that would have been great. And wouldn't you know, you guys were up for it. So I appreciate it. let me see. So I think what I need is the brow bone is fine where it is. This side needs more cheekbone. So I needed more connection over here, I think. So now if I add in the brow, the eye will look better. And then I want it a little bit further back. There we go. We're definitely looking pretty good. Okay, so now this is sort of where I wanted to add that fire in. Again, don't do this if you have a laggier computer. But if you can afford it, which I think I can to some level. Because just doing that alone, like, look at how cool that looks. That looks really cool. That looks awesome. Seductive and sexy. Yeah, because I want him to see, like, you know, this or whatever, because, like, that was the thing is, I wanted to, like, do something first before I handed off the project where I could kind of, like, you know, be like, you know, here's what I can do. And I know, like, they've seen, like, some of the stuff I've worked on for, you know, Beyond Wolf and stuff, but just something so that they really get an idea of, like, you know, what kind of build this is and what I'm looking for. Because I have no doubt after seeing, like, you know, what Drew did with the tree and stuff, and I've seen, like, Estan's just not, like, he's the only person I know that can just take literal crap from Planet Zoo, like, from the Africa set, and I'm like, you know, and, like, as he's building, I'm like, what are you doing? The Africa set has nothing to do, and then he'll be like, yep, and it looks good, and I'm like, what? Oh, how did you do that? There's no business the India whatever should be used on a wall and have it look reasonable within a given theme or whatever, and, like, he does it, and I don't get it. Because he does it all the time, and I'm just like, what the hell? Like, because at first I was like, well, maybe just that cluttered look, you know, just really benefits the swamp look. But then he, like, even did it with, like, other builds, like, with the, like, Suyana, and, like, oh yeah, I just repurposed this building from Suyana, and, like, now it's, you know, a swamp building, and I'm like, what did you do? And he's like, oh, I just, you know, placed down crap, now it's a swamp building, and it's like, well, yeah, but why is it a swamp? How does that translate? But it does. All you creators, Estan, Drew, yourself, Savannah, P, Blade, you all compliment each other so nicely. Because they're all awesome at building. That's why, like, I always feel bad. I'm like, you know, I'm a mod guy or whatever, but, like, and I think I'm an okay builder. It's just, I look at, like, some of these people and I'm like, oh my god. Especially, like, Bro Nation, like, they just put me to shame all the time. I'm like, here I am with my accurate zoo recreation, and then they're like, yeah, but, like, as an example, it's the reason I got Haribo to work on the administration building for Roger Williams. It's because I'm like, I could do it, but you would do it justice. I would do it, because it would be a build that, like, I really wouldn't want to do, so I wouldn't really have my, like, you know, full appreciation in it, but I know he's an architecture guy, he's a realism guy. He would have done it justice. And so that's what he's working on right now. And I'm like, yeah, I totally have faith that Haribo's going to make something completely awesome from that. And like, yeah, what P-Blade did earlier with, what was it, like his little teasers that he keeps giving Estan about Suyana, like, oh yeah, I'm holding on to it or whatever. Like, this Asia set, like, when he's like gonna reveal it is gonna be just insane. I don't know if Savannah and stuff are gonna even be able to build on it afterward, but you know, definitely looks awesome. Zooflin, so yeah, I love Eben. Eben, like, you know, I really appreciate Eben because Eben like is a fellow modder. Because I think that's the other thing is like I also have like kind of like a soft spot for people who also help the modding community out, and so Eben only has done a handful of mods, but you know, definitely very, very useful ones for the community. I want to get him on like Roger Williams at some point just as a co-host because like I just want to talk to him about modding. Especially, like, he's also an ex-Zoo Tycoon player like myself, so, like, he knows, you know, what I'm talking about if I'm, like, looking for, like, oh, yeah, remember this or something. Like, he was a big Zoo Tycoon person. And I was, like, debating, like, doing a Take-Two style podcast, with people like that, because I wouldn't do it sort of like what Drew and Estan do, where it's like just all simulation games. But Julie was like talking to me, and she was like, "What if you made a podcast called Zoo Pals or whatever, and it just talks about like all things zoos and stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, honestly, that would be, you know, that's not a bad idea, because I like the idea of talking to people and stuff about whatever, about interesting topics." It's just, you know, getting that ball rolling. Editing's another thing, and that's why I've been loving live streaming, because it's way easier for me to just, you know, build than it is to live stream, or to record a video and do whatever. Like, you know, I can just take my sweet time right now. I've accepted the fact that I'm no longer going to hold myself to, oh, well, you need to stop pausing or whatever to, like, take some time to look at concept art or read the chat or whatever, because, you know, you're going to have to make a time lapse out of this. I'm fine just doing what I'm doing and enjoying it, because I like building and playing Planet Zoo, and that was kind of a thing that, like, I was hating about, like, early live streaming was just the pressure of just like, okay, yeah, well, I see the chat, but I need to, you know, make sure that I'm not, you know, just pausing and doing nothing for 6 or 7 seconds, because I know that that's going to mean I have to go through the 2 hours of, you know, footage at the end of the time lapse, and then cut that part out, and then edit it, and like then I have to render all. It was just not a fun time. And so I like this, where it's just a lot more relaxed, you know, a lot less panicky. Let's do this. I want to have like a river over here, just like, or like a little lake where the lava's pouring into, and then I'll cover it up again after when I'm done. Live streaming is great. Drew and Estan are quite enjoying it. Savannah did an amazing job. Yeah, it's just more relaxing, I think, than just recording for the sake of recording. Because it also, like, gives me kind of some, like, not inspiration, but almost like a sense of purpose when I'm live streaming to do what I want to do. Like, it's just that little extra push to be like, hey, make that content you wanted to. Because it's very easy to be like, oh yeah, I want to work on a video or something. But, you know, live streaming forces you to be like, nope, I need to do something in Roger Williams today. Like, as an example, like Drew the other day, you know, wasn't really feeling super inspired by Beyond Wolf. And, like, you know, he was like, just like, yeah, I mean, you know, the Prehistoric Kingdom's looking real good right about now. Really, you know, just not crazy about Beyond Wolf or whatever. And I was like, listen, Just go and explore something other. Like, you've kind of like got it in your head right now. You're hell-bent on doing the Dark Swamp. Don't do the Dark Swamp. You have a bunch of other ideas you've tossed around. You wanted to do the manatee thing. You wanted to do the Spanish town, etc. Focus on one of those. Like, maybe just see where he goes. And then, yeah, now he's just full on with the Spanish. Like, it's almost like him and Estan have swapped what they wanted to do initially. Where Drew was like all for the Dark Swamp, Estan was really promoting the Spanish town, and now they almost like found their footing by just kind of trading what they wanted to do. Okay, that looks really cool though. At first wasn't really feeling this. I'm feeling it now. I feel like we're getting somewhere. I need to build up the back of the wolf a little bit. And I already have plans for like what else I wanted to do with Atlas Park outside of this area. Because right next to this, I don't know where Estan's planning on building his thing, but I have an idea, because I want the next animal I do for the Norse area to be Ratatasker, which is a squirrel. He's like a mischievous squirrel god in Norse mythology. And usually he's like depicted as either like a orange electric squirrel or like whatever. And so I kind of drafted an idea for an exhibit where I want it to be like almost like Thor's hammer, or like a fallen Thor's hammer from a fallen statue or something, and then like it's got like overgrown and stuff with like a bunch of vines and leaves and stuff, and then this little squirrel god has just made his home there. I really like that idea, and so I made a concept of the mod. I'm gonna use the capuchin monkey, and yeah, I'm feeling it. I've been wanting to get back into Atlas, and this is what I was saying, like, just the Drew and Estan kind of getting back on their, like, fantasy kick and stuff. I was like, yeah, I did enjoy Atlas Park. I've had, people, like, commenting for months being like, you need to stop doing Roger Williams and Mystic, it's kind of getting kind of boring, just, like, constantly seeing realistic zoo builds and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a little burnt too, because the other thing is I've never just made a regular zoo in Planet Zoo. Everything I've done has either been kind of some specialty zoo, i.e. Atlas Park or Dracula Park or something, or in the case of Roger Williams and Mystic, a one-to-one recreation. And so I've never had like my own, at least as a series, my own inspiration, to do something. It's just always been recreate whatever or do whatever. And I just appreciate a handlebar mustache, but he has the same kind of idea where it's like a horn and stuff. So I'll have to play around with the colors, with what I want to do, if I want to make him green or if I want to make him orange squirrel with the blue stripes, or maybe I do something crazier or more unique. Maybe I even like purple or something. I don't know. But that was the idea. Is I just wanted something similar to that. Because that was sort of the idea I had. That was my design for Fenrir, where I looked at, a few reference photos of different depictions of Fenrir, but I kind of made it my own. And I find that more fun when you're designing fantasy creatures, is when you take your, like, you kind of stay true to some designs that you like of, oh, this is a cool interpretation of a dragon or something. But then you can kind of mix and match it and be like, okay, yeah, but what if this dragon was, also kind of like a bearded dragon style skin or something, or because that's when you get cool dragon designs like Game of Thrones, where like they were like, okay, what if it has like fish gills, and it's like, yeah, that's a cool design. Definitely is recognizable as a dragon, but it's an interesting and unique design. And so that's sort of what I'm looking at. Is that a P-plate assassin squirrel? YouTube's lagging back. Not sure if it's for anyone. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I don't know why that's a thing. It's a really common issue on my stream. And I'd love to say it's something like my internet or something, but it doesn't even seem to be that way. But the last few weeks, YouTube's been having crazy issues like that, where like it'll just be very, very behind for some reason. So I hope it's not super behind for anyone else, but like my Face of the Rainforest episode I did last week was like literally 20 minutes behind, and so a lot of people didn't even see me saying goodbye. It just ended abruptly, and like that was really awkward. Maybe you subscribe to Estan Mountain Internet. Yeah, no, I can't say that. I'm very much not a city boy, but definitely a suburbs in a very metropolis area in New England, so can't say I'm in a, crazy area of the country where my internet should be messed up. But let's see if I do this. It's kind of working, just making a more organic flow for the rocks than just like an abrupt wooden fence. Because I like the idea of having the fence there, but like I want to hide it a lot more than just whatever. I think it needs something else. We need one more weenie in this habitat to make it like really look good. Like we have the ship, we have the chains, we have the wolf head. I want something right here. I don't know what. Anyone have any ideas? I want something really cool and big. Maybe I do want like a Loki statue or something. Like a big statue of Loki, like hanging out. That could work. A broken fortress? That could work. Not opposed to that. Let's see. Not only in designs, but also behaviors. Sup, Leaf? Welcome to the stream. We're working on Atlas Park. And we're also going to take a field trip. Because Nordic Fort. Or I guess it would be like a fjord. Probably going to get a lot of Minecraft. Not going to lie. Let's see. So, this is from Skyrim. It's not crazy. I could see something like that. Nordic concept art. This is all. I totally agree with what Drew was saying. He's like, you ever want to find cool stuff, just look up concept art after anything you're looking for. Magma trickling down from volcano. Yeah, I could do something like that. Ooh, I kind of really like the... Okay, so even though this is a more modern take on an idea, I kind of like the idea of like a big fort, and then there's like icicles like coming down or whatever, like built into the thing. Like maybe story time. So maybe, right? We have this crashed ship over here. Maybe, which by the way, I want to add some fire to. Because I like adding fire everywhere because I'm some sort of pyromaniac. I also want to add some more like destruction stuff. Like, the ship literally just got destroyed and just shattered into a million splinters and stuff. Just by doing a couple of that. Yep, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. Appreciate it. Okay, I think I have an idea. So, what kind of stone wall do I want? I don't want the ice wall, do I? No. Because I want to go for more of like a very Nordic, very ancient looking building. So I'm thinking the temple pieces. Yeah. So let's try this. So if I can just work something like this into it. But I kind of want it like at a slant. I love how we're just going crazy with this build unnecessarily. But I'm kind of fine with it. I just bought the game and it's very hard for me to get my animals to be happy. I bought 2 zebras, but they aren't happy. Okay, if you are new, are you playing on Sandbox? Like, do you actually want to play the game, or are you more interested in building? Because if you're just interested in building, you can play in Sandbox. You'll get unlimited money, and you are able to turn off the animal happiness, and then you can just kind of build whatever you want to your heart's content. But if you do want to, you know, play the game legitimately, you can check on you can click on the animal like Heather said, and like it'll tell you about like what their welfare needs and requirements are to make them happy. So let's do something like this. We'll do kind of like it's like a frost giant or something, like fortress. I kind of want like really sharp angles too, like coming out from this. Basically, if you want a polar bear habitat too. Do that weird like Game of Thrones polar bear that they had. Alright, let me think. Let me try to see. Yeah, because I want like something like jutting out like that. I don't know how I'm gonna make it. But let's just for now. We're just gonna pretend like this is just the whole fort. So we'll start out by doing this. This will determine if I even like this idea or not. And then some kind of like Nordic runes or something. Temple. So I could do this. I know it looks weird, but I'm gonna try it. Make it gray. Because I just want some kind of thing jutting out here. So like this. Oh yeah, I also played Jurassic World Evolutions, but it's a bit more easier than Planet Zoo, but I will try Sandbox later to make a cool zoo. Oh no, you're good. It's cool. Do you watch zoo tours? I super frequently, but I do watch zoo tours. So let's see. Am I feeling this? Let's see. This could be interesting too if I do something like this, where I put the, I like pretend like these are like runes or something. The issue is they look too distinctly. Actually, that looks kind of cool. I kind of like that. At first, I was a little hesitant about this design, but like, I think it definitely kind of reads off as like kind of like a Nordic look. Maybe if I made it get brighter. Yeah. I'm feeling it again. I'm feeling it. Wasn't feeling it at first. And not feeling it now because it's a little off kilter, but I'm getting the Nordic vibes again. Though I'm not feeling the spike. Feeling this, not feeling the other thing. Because he's a really good inspiration, or channel to look at it for inspiration. Let's see. Because I didn't mind the idea of this either. This is the thing that I think we need, is just a brand new, what would you call that? Like, we need some kind of like inverse of the circular piece. So like a concave version to like fill in gaps like this if I want like one really smooth round angle. I could try to make that actually. That would be a really useful mod. If I just take this and then like if I just had a piece that just connects from this to this. Just some kind of connection piece for each of the things. So you can like make really big circles or something that all look, you know, good next to each other. I definitely think that's not a bad idea for a mod I do. But for now, I will just suck it up and deal with the weirdness that is this. Gray, 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 gray. Okay. So I think I'm feeling it. I just need... Let's see. Because I kind of want to, like, do the same on this side. Like some kind of symmetrical looking fortress. Which obviously may or may not be possible, but I'd like that if possible. You can sometimes get the circles to look okay by splitting from group and chaining the grid side to 1 meter. Could try that. That's not a terrible idea. Because, I mean, like, I could try, like, obviously you can sort of flex it like this or something. Like, if I really wanted to fudge it, I could, you know, make a more rounded angle that way. But, I don't know. I'm trying to... I need a vision if I even want to do... Because we're kind of getting to the edge of the map as well. So that's another concern of mine. Right above the blue. I think a little above the blue. I don't know. I'm losing... I had that flow. I'm losing that flow. I need to gain it back. I need to get back to what I wanted to do. When in doubt, make a custom sign. Let's work on that. That's always good advice. When in doubt, make a custom sign. Because if you're ever feeling uninspired, a cool sign will always work. Alright. So let me just make it one thing big. Maybe you just need a 7th inning stretch. I could. I mean, it's also about that time that I would normally stop streaming, so that also could be it. But let me think. Because I want to make a sign quick, at least. So let's just do that. And I always use custom fonts, because that's how I like to annoy myself. So let's see. So we will do it kind of like this. Oh, that is not correct. 30-second dance party. F. So if I do this, so this will be the F for Fenrir. Like I said, we're going more kind of crazy Nordic. I don't know if that's going to come off as Nordic, though. That's the only thing. Well, I've been streaming for 2 hours now. Yep. And it shows, because I am losing steam real quick. Because, yeah, I'm not even sure if I'll like the font that I'm kind of going with. I like the idea of it being pointy. I'm just not sure about the actual text. So let's see. I don't know how Just Goron does entire streams like this. He'll just do an entire stream where he's just basically just like placing down little signs like this. Dude has patience. Because I do signs like this as well. It's just I would just never stream like this. It's way too taxing on my mental state. You just end up staring at this stuff for hours. Fin. There's the F. And now, let's see. E. Fen. F. And let's see how well I can do the E. It's a very, yeah, I'm not feeling this. Let's see. Trying to connect this up is just not doing great. Definitely think, though, I might be burnt. Because just the fact that I'm not talking as much, the fact... I also blame the India music and the classical music. I want to just remove those from the Planet Zoo playlist or whatever that I always use for my background music. Because, like, they put me to sleep and they just creep me out. They're all just, like, way too, like, entrancing and just weird. The African music and, like, the North American music's, like, relaxing and kind of, like, upbeat and stuff, but just... It's just not. It's not, like, yeah, it's just too, like, I don't know, peaceful. It's too peaceful for me. Puts me to sleep. I need energy. So if I do this... I am spelling out his name, which is Fenrir. I'm seeing if I'm liking this, though, because I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or not. Fenrir. Kind of like the idea of the crosses, though. Yeah. And how far away can you even see it? Yeah. Yeah, not really feeling it. Kind of like this, though. So if I did this does make it look more Nordic. But honestly, I think I'm going to call it there because I'm just burnt. But I think we definitely made a good progress today. Like, I definitely think this habitat definitely looks pretty cool. I want to fix up the fort and stuff, and I'll see what I can do about that. But, thank you, everyone. There you go. Here he is. There's the boy. Big lava wolf. Aw, look at him. He's so cute. Don't you just want to pet him? But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will probably be back on Thursday with more something. I don't know if I'm gonna do Alice Park because I think off camera I'm gonna probably work on this exhibit more until it's to my liking. Then I'm gonna pass it off to Estan to see what he can work on, and then yeah, we'll go from there. So I will see you Thursday, roughly same time. So 1 o'clock to roughly 3 o'clock. And yeah, so thank you all for watching, and I will see you then. Bye, everyone.